equipment acquisition. We have $402,977. That includes our loan and the $60,000 that's in the equipment acquisition.
Is there a motion to approve the treasury report? Do we need one?
I move we approve the treasurer's report as submitted.
Okay. Is there a second? Been moved and seconded that we approve the treasurer's report. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next is bills paid and pending.
Okay, we got a payment for Mutual of Omaha for Ted Ross's insurance, Lakeside Water District, for 204.07. Lakeside Water District for 38.60, that is a baseline. City of Lakeside wastewater 47.46. Charter Communications for 182.30. Shelley Road for 122.98. Ringo's Lakeside Marina for 1,000. South Coast Office Supplies for $30. That's an estimate, so we need to get them the count on the copier so that they can get that. Okay. Let's see, Coos County Sheriff for dispatching 124.63. Hugh McAdams, the CPA's 1734.19. For the attorneys 1875.80. Don Londo, right? 400. Tom's Lock and Key, $657. And Central Lincoln PUD 29.20. Hauser Fire for 4,140 for a total of $10,586.
I'll make a motion, we pay the bills.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion?
Yes.
I have a
Okay, two discussions.
the last meeting, the meeting before, we talked about, you said that you were gonna try and find out about it with the Central Lincoln. Right. Yeah, I was trying to get. I know it's really low. Yeah, that's gotta be their baseline. That's gotta be their baseline. I know. And the water, I got a hold of it. All right.
Yeah, I called South Coast Office Supply because when I looked at the invoice, I saw this saying we've made 2,000 copies, and that was an even number, which stood out to me. So I called. The other thing is Debbie went in and asked to have Ted Ross's name removed from it, and they have not done that yet. And what we found out is that on the 19th of each month, she sends an email to the people, and that $30 we're paying for a service. But on the 19th of the month, she sends an email, and you read the meter on the copy machine, and you send in the reading, and that's how they base the charges. And so I gave her my email. Ralph said he gave it to her before. She also tried calling the office, and obviously it goes to answering machine and so on. So if that number 2,000 is higher than what we actually use, it will be adjusted. If it's higher, then it will be adjusted that way. I asked her, because that includes the toner, the service, and a certain amount of copies, but she didn't know how many copies that meant. So I know. It was like, okay. So that's what that one is about. That's what I wanted to bring up. What I found out, and so now I know that by the 20th of this month, we need to call them or email them to send an email to send in the reading.
Okay, so we'll have to make arrangements to be able to go look at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because those are your copies.
Yeah, because like I said, we're getting the quick name off of it, and the years on it, and we'll do that, so.
Yeah, if I'm down to help and just swing by the street, it's on the phone and it's taking the phone.
Any Any other discussion? None? Okay, all those in favor of, paying the bills?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
On the bills were all signed, already, and so I have them. Okay.
Sure. Who wants it? Resolution. I have a note on here that says Debbie Simon. That's what it is. Resolution 15-1608, whereas Oregon Statute 2943462 requires the district to review every 10 years the purpose of a reserve fund and to decide if it should be continued or abolished. And whereas the district's acquisition and improvement fund is a reserve fund, and whereas the district has determined that it is time to reconsider the purpose of the acquisition and improvement fund, be it hereby resolved by the Board of Directors of the Lakeside Rural Fire Protection District that the acquisition and improvement fund be continued and that its purpose will remain unchanged and will be for the accumulation of money for financing the cost of major acquisitions, improvements, and repairs. This is my signature below verifies that this resolution was passed at our meeting by a majority vote and that a quorum of directors was present.
I make a motion that we pass the resolution.
There a second?
Second.
Discussion?
This is that 60,000 that's on the entity budget. If you were just at 69,000.
69, okay. All those in favor, Bill, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I will sign it. Put it in my signing. Okay, next on the agenda is fire chief posting.
It's going to be pages 10 through 12 in the packet.
And this is our, yeah, it just flew right out of my head, I'm sorry, this cold is getting to me. This is what we expect our new fire chief to do. It's a job description. And what we did was we looked at 3 separate fire chief job descriptions and chose the one that we thought was the best. And actually this one comes from Langhorne. And it just fits us perfect, absolutely to a T. Without the job description, we can't advertise for a fire chief because it's very difficult to tell people what you want them to do if you don't know. So first step is, I think everybody in their does everybody in the has one in everybody has one in the packet that you can look at. We discussed this a lot, did a lot of meetings and you know, back and forth, and I think it's perfect. I think it's just perfect for us. So I'd like to.
The 1667 per month maximum on the bottom, that's my handwriting for last time, and what Ralph did is added up the numbers if we use the chief, the secretary, and so on and so forth, and bundled it all together, that it would still be that much.
No, that was when we were talking about the amount per year.
Okay.
And I guess the other thing, because I do want to advertise as soon as possible for this fire chief, as far as that goes, I'd like to do it tomorrow. That's how.
Have we decided the stipend
No,
or?
that's where I'm going in.
Okay.
We need to decide whether it's going to be a stipend or a salary or how we're going to pay it and exactly how much we're going to pay.
Well, the only argument, they're not arguments of discussion, is between Ralph and I. He wanted one and I wanted the other, and so I went home and looked at Webster's, and stipend versus salary, they're a form of each other. The difference being, that I read, a salary means that if Bob works 100 hours, the pay pay stays the same if I work 1 hour. There's no overtime involved, there's no extra pay involved, and it can't come back and bite you like it has in the past. It's the exact same thing, except for stipend can be used for not paying the taxes, it can be used as a tax deferral, it can be used for a salary. When I looked it up, to me, it opened up the door for a problem down the line. And that's how I looked at it. That's my argument. If it's a salary, it's a set pay, no matter how many hours they work, there's no overtime involved, but it's the same pay every month regardless. It would be the same exact thing, but it can be determined later if it went somewhere else. It could be determined that it wasn't just a salary, there was other things involved, unless the wording is absolutely correct and proper and lawyers are involved in it. So I just thought the salary, to me, was the easier solution.
I know the salary will accumulate sick leave. Is mandatory to have annually, that would be another
Well, that's a
question.
new law, January 1st anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they're on.
Well, if they're on a stipend. I don't know, who's on a stipend? Jerry, you're on a stipend. Do you get sick leave?
No, I don't.
And you think salary is under falls under that?
Well, salary would fall under where we have to, for every 30.
I thought when I read the January 1st, 16.
Any type of payment has to be involved.
Anybody that has over one employee
Yep.
had to offer sick, family leave, and not vacation, but some sort of day.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the question I would have for the attorney is it paid employees? I think that's what they go by the number.
But I don't want this to stop
Yeah,
and run out tomorrow. I mean, that can be
I think,
ironed out. I don't want to stop this from going on.
right, I think that we could, put that the salary will be negotiated.
Yeah, I think we could put even, be it stipend or salary, I mean, when you do the contract, you can specifically say that.
But I wasn't sure during the last couple of chiefs, so I've heard a lot of things. You want it.
And my fear is when you get into salary, that you may get into first, we've got retirement, we've got all kinds of things that go into that. Whereas if you do a stipend and make sure that that contract says, there's no overtime, this is what you are going to do for then I think we'd be safe, and I don't think that we've ever had a contract that ever, the ones that I've read, that have ever said, that there's no, I don't want to get into first, and they're going to tell me, and it's all the people that,
and they are required to be part of membership of police officers and firefighters and public employees retirement system. And it says it's provided in this section, all public employers of police and firefighters shall provide retirement benefits for those employees under the public employment retirement system. For stipend, you don't do that.
right, yeah, we don't have any of that. And if we were rich, I would go, yes, but we are not rich.
And we don't want nothing to do with hourly.
Nobody wants your taxes, so.
There's nothing to do with hourly. All right, you guys are different.
Also, the attorney sent the email, and he said stipend is a token amount of pay, you know, know, for a volunteer organization, and I'm like, that would be us.
Well, like I said, I just went to Webster's and looked at the two definitions, I didn't look at the law part of it.
I make a motion that we accept this, job description for the fire chief and put out a job announcement not later than the 19th? Or you want the 20th?
Give me a day, I gotta write it up.
Okay, I want the 20th.
Somebody's gotta write it up.
How about
Not written
better
yet.
than next Monday? What's next Monday? The
23rd.
23rd.
Okay.
I second.
And keep it open how, okay, keep it open how long?
For 30 days.
Why not keep it open until Phil?
To when?
Till Phil, to fill the position. You're gonna, hopefully, you're gonna advertise in areas that allow you to do it at no cost, like the state employment office.
Yeah, and there's another one that I talked to Jim Aldridge about, and it goes around to 50,000 different.
So the next thing till the first of July?
Well, no, we used to do this in the Guard, is we put a job out there, open till filled, and when we got enough applications in that looked like they were good applications, then we would close the job at that time. It gives you flexibility.
Yeah.
It's not saying you can't close it in 30 days, it's saying take a look at what you've got.
Yeah, you get a good candidate in a week, and
We won't, I don't wanna get in, if we find someone that we all think's pretty good, and then we say, well, you know, it's gonna be open for as long as they want, so let's wait till we find somebody better, I don't wanna do that.
No, none of us gonna do that.
Phil, Phil.
Yeah.
I do think
No,
we should have like a
yeah.
minimum 30 days until filled, because 30 days gives people a chance to get it in, because if you're busy this week,
So I amended to 30 days or until filled.
And are you
That
going to,
gives you the option.
are you going to allow them to mail the applications or letters of interest in, email or fax? I would do all three.
Absolutely.
And, I wanna say Mike, that did and also, Joel, yeah, there's, if we can get a hold of them, and there's two organizations that deal with firefighters and chiefs. Okay, you have that, all right, good.
Okay. The one place, I asked Jim Aldridge, where can we advertise to get the most people and touch the most people? And he said, he sent me this, and he said it's the Daily Dispatch, and it has cost. But the job postings will run for 6 weeks until the position closing date, whichever occurs first. And there's 3 different types of ads. You can run an ad within your state, and it's $250. And it's the Daily News for America's Fire Service. You can you can run an ad for $385, and it goes to same stipulation, but it goes to Alaska, Arizona, California, Hawaii, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, Utah, and Washington. And they will also post it on the Western Fire Chiefs Association website for that $385. He recommended this, but that's our decision, wherever we want to do it.
Another 250 or 385, so
Yeah.
$130 difference.
And you know, there may be somebody out there that is just exactly what everybody is looking for, and he's just retired, and hey, I'd like to move to the Oregon coast and fish in 10-mile lakes and be excellent. You know, I hate to close the door on somebody that might be out there.
and I think $385 is a good investment, because it's an investment for the future. And it opens it up to so many people that hopefully will get a good quality person in, and possibly be retired from a bigger city, just looking to kick back on the lake.
Right.
And was it a one-time fee?
Yes, one-time fee. It runs 6 weeks or until the closing date. So if we put a 30-day closing date on it, and, you know, that would be the other thing.
That's pretty much all we're on.
Yeah.
We could tell them we went into 6 weeks because it's open till filled.
Yeah, okay.
Should we vote on the first motion?
vote on the first motion first. And it was to
approve
I'm
the
lost, sorry.
job description,
The job
put the
description.
job out not later than Twenty-third.
Okay, all right, and we've had we'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, unanimous. Now, can we go to this part?
I make a motion that we do the 6 weeks, $385 advertisement to get the widest distribution out there to get best qualified candidate.
Okay, any discussion?
We already did that.
We did it backwards, sorry. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay.
I was thinking a lot faster than usual. Also,
Okay, next is correspondence.
correspondence. Okay, first thing we got is you have a letter from the city of Lakeside for fireworks donation. City of Lakeside has taken over the Lakeside 4th of July celebration. Donations from special districts like yours help towards costs to make this event a success. If you ever turned in a donation to the Lakeside Chamber of Commerce for the fireworks, thank you. Any donation would be greatly appreciated. Please make checks out to the city of Lakeside. I'll just make a comment. The city receives transit tax and has plenty of funding and stuff. Right now, the fire department is in a icky spot financially. One thing that the fire department can do that would be a good thing all the way around is the night of the fireworks, which this year is July 2nd. If they go around and pass the boot, that money goes in. They usually get about $400 to $600 by doing that. It would give the manpower to have that done because that's a really good location. Plus, it gives your firemen the PR, and also when all the fireworks are going off, and that money goes to the city.
Actually, I should pay a package of the funds for our association to help out with that. And since I have our association president here. Yeah, it rolls downhill, okay?
Right.
You have to pay porta potties, you have to pay dumpsters, couple of employees expenses, which are like, $1,500 to $12,000
I'm a very brave person.
Lakeside,
Thought about 3:34 o'clock, because I didn't take them to the county park, within the barbecue, and the fireworks and stuff like that, so you get to county park, and you go from about 4 to about 7 or 8, and then fireworks start at 6.
No, I need before that. I would like before that, recess is coming. Well, it's something like that, rather than, I mean, it's, but, that's another suggestion, do it before recess.
I would, honestly, I would maybe just let it slow down just to December, and maybe it's a year. And the firemen, I was, even when the fireworks was going, actually, if you have into the children, it works really better. The children have a guaranteed, they start to more money than we ever did. And I would go out and help collect and say, whatever it is, as long as they not a big living, just so but, I don't know what the suggestion is, probably for doing that well.
Well, but we'll let the city decide, let city council decide, and then let us know, and we can figure out what we can do.
Okay, and if the city wants to go ahead and pass.
I guess mine doesn't look.
Board member two, and volunteers can get one in charge.
May I make a comment? Talk to Curtis, he's already got a plan as far as this, so check with Curtis. He doesn't want us taking the plan.
I know,
I don't feel like.
because it could be a hazard.
I mean, I'd love to give a whole bunch of money to the city for fireworks, but, yeah.
Write a check.
It's too tight, because we don't know what's gonna happen yet, so, and I'm sorry. Okay.
So that's one round down for the city, so you got 400 tonight.
So, we're not going to, right? Okay, so
Oops, I'm sorry.
Okay, next thing, that was in correspondence was a survey, it was interesting, I received it May 16th, and it said to fill it out and return it by April 29th. Didn't make that, I couldn't see my packet, and then I got an email from the accountant saying that she did it today, for that campaign from Lakeside. Next thing in your packet is from the tax from, county and, local government investment page, so that's just information only. Then I have on the FFP program, I have an email from Michael McKinney, who's the gentleman that Bob referred to, with the surplus tax. Kelly, I think I gave you those handbooks that you can refer to, but I have attached a guide which refers to code 41B, which states 3 primary issues in regard to Lakeside and fire FFP equipment. 1, FFP is for the current use of authorized program participants. When Lakeside went without insurance, the requirement of both FCCP and FFP, it was no longer compliant with the signed agreement, both FCCP and FFP. As a stock assumption, they simply were no longer an authorized program participant. Time was given for the issues to be worked out, and so far, we have found a way to keep some of the equipment in this area. The remaining equipment is in custody of Hauser RSTV currently, but this could change. I would like to see these safe posts and boxing wheelers filled with dependencies that they must remain active liability insurance with an authorized program participant. 2, most important is the language of the same code 41B. FFP cannot be obtained for the purpose of warehousing, stockpiling, sale, lease, rent, exchange, larger, etc. It's for current fire use directly and ownership may be passed depending on intent, compliance to program guidelines, and not-for-profit or personal use. In the FFC code agreement, it specifies that the utility must have equipment serviceable and in use within 1 year. This applies to both FECC and FFC programs. With FFC, an extension may be requested, but never was requested. The 5-ton trucks were never modified, the volume pumps were not brought into serviceable condition. The dozer was used for building clearing, not direct fire use, and was not made fire-ready with availability of lowboy and tractors. The 3,000 generator sat in the back of the 5-ton and not put into service. Please let the folks know that such time the department becomes a qualified partner again with a chief that can comply with the program guidelines, we can replace the equipment and create new possibilities for the community. These programs, FECC and FFC, are being used effectively statewide to add capacity to departments. I look forward to the day this can once again happen for Lakeside. If there are any specific questions you need additional information on, please raise your questions to me and I will do my best to clarify.
I want to elaborate into the record, and there is lots of you very well and very much. Because of all the rumors that have been going on about why the machine was taken away, where it went, where it was stored, and everything, we will do FECC and FFC again. As you can tell by this letter that we received from them, we can't right now because we don't have a working fire district. And as soon as we do have a working fire district, we're back in again. So, I just wanted to clarify that.
But the equipment has to be for our fire use, not for wildland and things like that. That's not what we
Right. That's the commission that we use.
So that's what the fire, there's too much for it to try to answer. Yeah, we've got a specific letter saying about the new policies and stuff, and some questions that need to be answered, and then we have to decide what type of a method we're gonna do, as far as a fuel or a front load method, so it's like 6 times, is it gonna be based on our work, or is it gonna be 40 hours at the beginning of the year, type thing, and we'll have to decide on that, I think right now, since we don't have employees in a little bit of time, we should throw out the obvious questions.
Now, the customer family is to fill this out for us, or,
Anything that relates to it,
I guess, okay. I think what?
yeah, and most other things,
All right, so we just wait until next time.
travel insurance, there have decided to travelers, risk control division has determined that for the block of students at your Oregon location, we are extending the offer of assistance. What they want to do is come in and put a program together and check to make sure that we have all our ducks in a row with that. So, and travelers is our insurance for workers' comp.
calling back to them and telling them that we've got, fire season there.
Yeah. We also received this EMS list for anybody that doesn't know, and we got this nice little proclamation from Douglas County. I did make a copy of it, and also Health and Public Health EMS in 2016 from Bay City's ambulance, and they're having a lunchtime Wednesday, May 25th, from 11:30 to 6.
Intergovernmental agreement, these very report on that.
Everybody's got a copy of it?
I don't.
So, you kind of look it over and see if that works for everybody? I'm actually missing a couple of my members that have actually seen this yet, so we still have to kind of, I have to get my board members
I
too.
was gonna ask you, because I was considering for one of them.
What does it look like, facing it on the, is that what we can be dealing with that? So we just come in last minute?
I do like the part where, the manager, or if we have them sooner, even knowing what it is, either them or us or you.
Yeah, it was 90 days, or it can be canceled 30 days by either party, or immediately by both.
It's a simple,
Yeah, and it's basically just exactly what we're doing right now. And for that is correct.
You already got the, water maps and stuff, or
Actually, we have a map of the hydrant system, and we just got kind of a rough map of the lake, so we have at least an idea where we're going. And with the lake, we can always use GPS.
emergency services has all the properties on the lake on GPS, so that should be available.
And actually, they've helped us. If we call 911, they can direct us right where we need to go.
I've read this 3 times, and this is exactly what we're doing right now. I mean, there's no change. They will cover us, and as soon as we get our stuff together, then they'll stop. As soon as we get a fire district going again.
Yes. And actually, I'm going to have Lawrence kind of touch a little bit on some of that too. But I'll also go over our calls here real quick for this last month. Which there was 22 medical, 2 welfare checks, 1 burn complaint, and 1 electrical problem. Actually, guy wire off power pole is no red. So that made a total of 26. And then for Hauser, we had 16 more for a total for the month of 42.
fire that took out power, is that on her, the trailer?
Actually, that did not take out any power. The power issue was completely separate of that. And they were out hunting for it, and I'm not real sure, Bonneville was out looking. I'm not sure if it's actually a Bonneville problem or a central Lincoln problem. But they rerouted, the flow of the electricity and backed up the system.
The one, I think, there was a call on the lake, we got a line that was sent to someone on a boat, and we ended up,
We were actually just checking out the boat when we found that, but, it's got a fuel line that is collapsed. But both fuel lines actually need to be replaced. And
gonna do that, are you guys gonna do that?
we'll get someone to, and we'll just take care of it. We'll go get a fuel line and just replace them both. That's an easy fix.
And there was no call on that, it was just a routine check, okay?
Just a routine check. We've had 2 calls on the lake, that one was a fire alarm that we brought North Bend out for. They learned a little bit on navigation using GPS. We learned a little bit from boat operations. So it was actually a win-win for both. The other one was a medical, and we got someone else to take us out to that, and that was just basically a transport. And kind of coming up here with boats, if we're talking on that, I've got an instructor that will come out and teach a DPSST certification for 3 levels. So we will see how many we can get into that from out here and start towards that. But we'll have to jump through a couple hurdles here first. Lawrence, you want to kind of come certifications and training?
On the boat handlers, are we gonna offer to the Hauser fire guys if they didn't train as part of that? Because if our guys are busy, these guys could come up and use the equipment as a mutual aid type thing in the future.
They're gonna cover it.
They're gonna cover it.
And actually, part of it is I have to allow a couple other guys into the class from North Bend.
Yeah, I mean, the more,
More the merrier.
the more boat, certified folks you have put on a boat crew, the better it's gonna be for everybody.
And actually, this here covers, deckhand level, I can't remember what the next level is, and then operator. So it's actually 3 different levels in it.
Very good.
Thanks. I'm Warren Hoof, I'm the training officer with Hauser. Last week, Chief promoted me to captain. He sucked me into this thing. He said, I don't really want to do it, so I'm not going to take a lot of time. I do want to clarify a couple things. I want to touch a little bit on the boat. I'm basically here because there's a lot of untruths being said, like Debbie has stated. I don't want to call them untruths, but misinformation. So I was asked to come up and give a little talk about what we're doing, how we're going to do it. I'll talk a little bit about the boat, seeing how we're on that. The people that went down on the boat was Chief and myself. There was no other people out on that boat. Kathy from the marina showed us where the boat was. We fired it up and took it for a little test drive. I've got a boater's card. Been around boats. I own 3 boats of my own. I am a certified diver. I'm not a certified rescue diver. So that kind of squalls that type of a thing. Before we get into training issues, go back to the Hauser Fire Association. I am allowed to make a decision on dollars for donation. We'll get together with the city of Lakeside. Our association will donate some money to the fireworks thing. So I'm authorized up to, I think I can come up to $100 or $200, so we'll make sure that you guys get it. And then I have to take it back to the association if it goes above my $200 limit, I think so, but we will do something. So, talk about volunteers, what we have. All of this stuff is DPSST certified. DPSST is Department of Public Safety Standards Training. Okay, and that's how Lakeside is set up. There's only 3 departments in the county, to my knowledge, that are not DPSST certified. That's Gardner, Lakeside, and Bandon. Bandon does not do medical calls. So they all take care of it. Bay Cities take care of all that stuff. So right now I have 22 on my roster. I've got 20 active members. At operations level responder, I have 20. Firefighter 1s, I have 19. Firefighter 2s, I've got 3. Driver operators, which means they can drive the apparatus, get it to the scene, I have 14 people that can do that. Apparatus equipment with the pumps, which means they can operate the pumps, I have 12 of them. I have 5 water supply operators that went through the DPSST classes, and what that does is they can take command and charge of a water supply system, whether it be a lake, whether it be off your public system or whatever. I've got 3 instructor 1s, I've got 1 instructor 2, I've got 6 wildland interface firefighters. I've got 3, I'll back up one, I've got 1 wildland interface engine boss. He can run a wildland crew, basically. I've got 3 vehicle, machinery, and heavy rescue people. That's what we've got there. I've got 11 EMRs, which is a basic EMR, emergency medical responder. I have got 4 EMTs. I've got 1 EMTI, which means that he can start an IV. I've currently got 3 people up here in your district that are EMTs, and I have another paramedic that's on the chain up here. Okay, so our responses have been pretty decent. As far as the application process, I know that I've been hit with this, and I'll explain this. I don't know how many apps are out there because they're distributed between City Hall here, the Water Board. People have gotten them from me. We did an open house down there, gave a bunch away. City Hall, Water Department, Hauser, myself, Chief has some out there. Tomorrow night I have 4 apps that are coming in from the City of Lakeside that are coming to Hauser Fire. They are residents of up here, and we are going to probably be putting them on real soon. They have already got their DPSST numbers. They have already been back through their fingerprinting because they've got some certifications, and we'll also be, their backgrounds, most of them are done. So once we get them on, it's a huge step for us to be able to get this station back up and going real soon, okay? I talked about, you heard about how I wasn't transparent on the panel. Here's who was on the panel. The panel was John Aldridge. He's with, he's a paramedic for Myrtle Point Fire and a volunteer with North Bay Fire. He's a lieutenant for North Bay. Brian Conley, he is with Coquille Fire and a paramedic. He's an airlift paramedic also. There was Clark Anderson, who used to be on Lakeside Fire. I don't know that much about Clark, but I was trying to keep a well-rounded base, and then there was James Walker. I sat in on this thing, and the only question that I asked was, do you have anything you want to tell us? Unfortunately, the morning of and the afternoon of this application process, Johnny Aldridge bailed. He had to get out of here. He had an emergency come up. Brian Conley called me, and he said, I spoke to my chief, and because of the turmoil up there, he had asked me not to be doing this. And I understand that. So I get that. He didn't want to be tied in with that. So unfortunately, I ended up, and I had one other person on the panel, and it was Art Bell. Art Bell is retired, Portland Police Bureau, 27 years. He understands the DPSST process. He gets it. He's worked with it. When he retired, he was polygrapher/reader. Okay, so that panel, in my eyes, it's not that I wasn't transparent. It was, I had a couple people fall off, unfortunately, and that's just the way life is. So that's pretty much the direction that we're going to go. We will be bringing on these people as soon as we can, and when it warrants it, I'll be doing 2 drills a week, one at Hauser and one up here. So we are very, very close to getting this thing open and going. It's just, we've had some setbacks because of some social media stuff, but that's not going to stop us. We are ignoring that stuff, and I am moving forward along with my chief, and that's what we're going to do. And that was our pledge to you guys. So I don't know what more else we can do, but I've talked to a couple of you people individually, Bob and Deb, and this is what you've asked me to report on, so that's our goal, that's where we're going. Slaughter me.
So he just admitted that he lied to everybody, and there is 3 people from Lakeside involved in the application process. So that just goes to show proof that he has been lying this whole time.
Okay. We have been in there, and the only time that Hauser has been in there is when we've had one of these board members, it's either Bob or Debbie, pretty much, because of the way things are going. We are taking a neutral stance, as much neutral as we can take. Okay, we don't care about the politics. So we've been in there, and you guys, these guys are going to get pictures of that station. I guarantee you guys will be appalled when you see what's in that station. And it's going to be up to these guys to share that with you. It's not up to me. We got delayed opening going in there because of some things that I have discussed with that board, and it's this board that can tell you what we've seen and found in there. It's not my job or my duty to do that. My job and our duty is to move forward with this thing. That station, I'm not politically correct, it's a crap hole. I mean, it is, there is junk garbage everywhere, household garbage, and that's as far as I'm going to take it. These guys can share the rest of it with you. So we have to go in, do a couple things. We still will not be going in until we take one of these board members with and all the inventory gets done. I do want to touch on this, one more thing. I know I'm way over, but I want to talk about gear. We've had 4 people turn gear out of your whole entire department. I would suggest to you guys, and this is just a suggestion from me, get a letter together, get it out to the firefighters, give them 30 days, and after 30 days, if they don't do something, turn it into the sheriff's. There is a list that I have been given by people on that department of what every single person was issued. And it was a standard right out the door issue. Some stuff you're not going to see back because of things or that, but that is my suggestion because 4 people out of that whole department, come on. Somebody's got some gear somewhere.
It's very expensive. We just ordered brand new gear for 6 or 8 of us, and it was $1,600 for a complete set, not including boots. So, this gear is expensive. So,
would like to see the firefighters set up and everything, somehow get the word out to them that I don't want to call it good.
right. And on that same subject,
I would like to get the word out to them, and we get that with transparency and public communication, get on that.
okay.
We really do need to get the word out to them somehow, that if it needs to be turned in, and, you know, they get it back to the real plan, and then run it.
And on that reapplying stuff, I want to touch one thing, because I didn't put it in my notes, I forgot about that. I have had 2 people come to me, actually one person come to me that has volunteered their gear back, and I said, just sit and wait on it, because there was some special gear, I need to talk to you guys on that stuff. But the other rumor that's out there is that we came in and we fired all the firefighters. That is not true. That is not true at all. What had to be done is, in order to get covered under us, they have to turn all their gear in, take inventory, reissue it. Along with that, fill out an application on our end. And in that application, you're gonna get fingerprinted, you're gonna get background checked, and you're gonna get a physical. So that's why I suspect why we haven't got many of these applications back. But that's what you have to do to be under House's umbrella.
And I realize that some of the firefighters are waiting until.
Sure.
Sure. But in between that, they need to send stuff.
We gotta have the equipment, we have to have the stuff back.
I agree that there should be a letter for the individuals who haven't turned in their gear, that they need to turn it in and give them a deadline. You can't just make it arbitrary whenever you feel like turning it in. You can't.
Right, and we can also.
And that's you guys' deal, it's not Hauser's deal, you know, so. Okay, I'm done. Is there any other questions? I'm gonna go check, see if my tires are slashed yet. I'm kidding.
Thank you, Warren.
I'm kidding.
Parsons, go ahead, ask for turning in.
No.
We can have.
It parks down there by Sizzler.
Thing like we did before, to make it convenient. I'm willing to do that again, there's no big deal. You know, but they need to do it.
Yeah, well, they have a list of who has turned it in, who hasn't.
Right.
So the people who haven't, you send them a letter.
Yeah.
And if you want to give them a week to turn it in, then fine. But on that date, if you haven't turned it in.
And it would be good that we give them a phone number to call in so that we can fill up the slot rather than having 3 or 4 people sitting over at the station.
Another opportunity that we can give them enough leeway to make it easy for everybody.
Along with, isn't there mattresses or bunk bed or something that one of the firefighters said would be a.
There's some furniture.
Furniture and stuff, you know, and,
Along with some of the other.
and they need to come and get it or.
In my history of looking at paperwork, we paid for bunk beds.
Yeah, the mattresses are all the fire equipment.
I don't know.
The couch and that.
There's a couch, yeah.
The couch belongs to them,
On that comment that you guys are talking about, there has been 2 people, Stefan, I don't know his last name, and Caleb Moll, has been in touch with me and has said, hey, can I get this stuff before you guys go in? And they have to have access to their stuff within a timely manner. And they have asked us, so I have held off them too until we figured out, because I'd like to try and do it all at once, so I can just come in and take over.
Yeah. Upset or counter.
Okay, should we go back to the intergovernmental agreement between Lakeside and Hauser?
Yeah, Jerry.
I would like to make a motion that the Lakeside adopt the intergovernmental agreement between Lakeside Rural Fire Protection District and the Hauser Rural Fire Protection District.
1 second.
Been moved and seconded, any discussion?
Yes, they forgot one paragraph.
What?
Yeah, well, chief, you only forgot one thing on here. At the end, when the new chief, we get you for 30 days to do all the training for him too.
There's two typos, but.
If you'll mark those, I'll fix that.
You got it?
And Bob, no, I am not applying for your chief position, that's the rumor, okay? I am not doing it, never will, never would.
Okay, well, any other discussion?
I would withdraw on this, yes. No.
Okay, all right. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passed.
I just have a question for the chief. Is there anything you need from the board to help clean up the department?
Just someone to be there when we actually kind of go in for a little bit here, so, that way, you know, it's nice to just have, see it aside, on the other things that you have a complete line,
So I'd be able to use the houses, firefighters, instructional facilities?
we're working on that. That's what I'm planning on.
Chief, I can be there up through Sunday, and I'm leaving for 10 days to go to Michigan, but after that, it's anytime you call, can be done, I'll be done.
Okay, I'm gonna be gone for, a few days over Memorial Day.
I love to clean, sign me up.
Okay, sounds good.
You provide hazmat suits?
Turn out, it's almost the same, not quite. The lower level.
Thank you for what y'all are doing.
Thank you very much.
Great job.
We appreciate it. Okay, next is procedures for volunteers to see and copy their personnel files. I do not know how to do this. I do know where the files are. There's some of the firefighters that want to have copies of their personnel files.